Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Ali Show, and today we have another very special guest, Miss Ayisha Abied.
Hello.
And we've just found out some interesting facts that her birth name is actually Ayisha without the I. So her parents made it easy for us to pronounce. Anyway, Ayisha, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
The other thing I wanted to ask is your fight nickname is Baby Mumble, right? So it's a very interesting choice.
It's a different name,
It's a
yeah.
very interesting choice of nickname. Could you tell us the story behind
Uh,
Baby
s-
Mumble?
so my coach Lee,
Yeah.
in the past when we were training, I'm the type of person to get excited when I train.
Yeah.
So so when I'm doing pads or something and I'm like finding something new, like learning something new and I get excited, I do like this little dance. And I'm like probably the most uncoordinated person you'll meet for a fighter because I have really flat feet.
Okay.
And then my coach was like, and I can't talk. I'm terrible at talking sometimes. Like I
Yeah.
mumble my words and I get excited as well. And my coach was like, you remind me of Baby Mumble from Happy Feet. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh my goodness. From Happy Feet.
Like I might not
Oh,
be
shit.
mumbling now, but I swear if you had a conversation with me, you'd notice that like I'm trying really hard not to. But like I think of something to say and then when it comes out, everything just jumbles up.
Yeah,
And
I
then
know
people are
what you
just
mean.
like, oh,
I know what you mean.
oh,
Well,
you're saying something.
Well, I
right?
think we've had a few people on who are like not very comfortable on camera or like.
Yeah.
But trust me, like 5 minutes in, like you'll forget that it's there.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I was
It's just that
thinking.
first. The hardest part is always that first few minutes of
Yeah.
like any interview or talking in front of camera lights. I know it's like sometimes it is intimidating as well. And like, I mean, you would understand obviously fighting on like different. You fight at different places and events. Maybe some might be a little bit bigger than others.
Exactly, yeah.
And then
yeah.
you see all the cameras
You're
and
just
all
like,
the lights. You're
I
like,
don't
oh,
know.
yeah. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get too much into asking a lot of questions and whatnot, for those of us who don't know who you are, could you give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself?
So my name's Ayisha Abied. I am a professional fighter. I'm also a student and I do work part-time as well. So like, even though I'm a professional fighter, I still have to do other commitments and everything. But yeah, I've been doing fighting for about 5 years and training for almost 6 years now. And yeah, it's just been part of my life for a while. And yeah, it's definitely been a big journey of mine. And yeah, definitely keep still going and everything.
Man, I've got quite a few questions. So we were talking about off camera just now a little bit about your heritage. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm Palestinian. So my parents my mum grew up in Palestine. My dad mostly grew up in Jordan, but he's Palestinian, fully Palestinian. And yeah, I came here when I was 1 year old. I was born in Kuwait. I've never been to Palestine before, but I've grown up knowing a lot about it. And yeah, my family's there, and it's been a big part of who I am, being Palestinian, because our culture, the people that are very strong, very strong head. How do I say it? Like strong-willed. You know, they have so much passion, so much so much pride in their culture in their country. So I've taken that a lot from when I do everyday things, just knowing that this is where I come from, and it's made me who I am today.
There is strength, I guess, in remembering where you came from. You know, your roots,
Exactly,
your
yeah,
background,
yeah.
and the culture.
Yeah.
Hey
'Cause,
you,
yeah.
don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video.
Because yeah, I mean, I've met a lot of people traveling around the world. Met a lot of people like from the Middle East and all that. Yeah, and you know, you meet quite a few. I meet quite a few Palestinian people. You know, they're very nice people. But yeah, one thing you can say about them is like they have strong will. You
Very
know.
strong will, yeah.
Well, and then you meet the Egyptians that are you know they're pretty full on, and they can be quite aggressive. But yeah, and it's, you know, we don't want to get into too much of like the political situation and all that over there. But it's very sad. All I can say is like I don't know too much about it as well. But like all I can say, it's very sad what's
It is
going on
very
there.
sad, yeah. At the end of the day, a lot of people are hurt. A lot of things bad are going on, but you know, at the end of the day, they don't stop fighting. we don't stop fighting.
It is. That's just I mean, when you push people to a corner, you can't really expect for people not to do anything, right? And I mean, being a Muslim myself as well, and then earlier on this year, when you see a lot of like the photos and videos and stuff like that coming out, like it's very upsetting, and it's hard not to get angry, you know. And well, there's a lot of questions and a lot of things that can be said, but we're not the right people to be.
No.
We're not the best people to be saying about all of that stuff. But anyway, you were talking about when you started fighting 6 years ago.
Yeah.
How did you like? It's not a very common. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm gonna address this, but it's not a very common thing for a Middle Eastern girl, right? Okay, I'm not stereotyping. I don't want to be rude. I'm not, I'm not gonna say that you can't do it, but like, I'm all for it, but it's not very common.
No, definitely not common.
Exactly. And so, like, how did you get into combat sports?
So when I was younger, I was actually I'm very sporty. So I used to always get into sports and that. And before I started training, I was actually I played a lot of basketball.
Oh, okay.
But I was a loner. So I was playing basketball like by myself all the time, practicing all the time. Like I got into like the high school team and stuff, and I did like a premier team as well. And when I was younger, but I don't know, I just had this thing where like I lacked a lot of confidence, especially around like team sports and stuff like that. So it was hard for me to like get myself out there and things like that. And then I stopped playing, and then I kind of just got into a phase where I got a little chubby, wasn't training anything. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then and then at school, there was like a flyer going around like in the community center. It was saying
where was this? Sorry.
In Te Atatū. It was in Te Atatū. Te Atatū Community Center. They're doing like free kickboxing classes. This was with my the first gym I was in. Yeah, and then
Oh, and which gym was that?
That was Liga.
Okay.
Liga Legacy with Vinny.
Okay.
And so I started off with him. And I saw the flyer and I was like, oh, it said free. First of all, free. And second of all,
of course, when you're a student, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't really have a lot of money to spend anyway.
It's like get fit, get confident. I was like, okay, sweet, I'm there. And I went by myself, but there was some girls at school that was there. So I was like, oh, this is cool. But I always kept to myself and I always went. But like, I just started enjoying it. I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun, You kind of like letting stuff out, when you're hitting the pads and you're getting into stuff. And then
that was kickboxing?
Kickboxing, so yeah,
Okay,
kickboxing, yeah. I was like, I wanted to do boxing before, but my brother was like, nah, you can't do it. I was like, okay, whatever.
your elder brother.
But yeah, he used to do boxing. I was like, I want to do it. He's like, not for you.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and I started off doing that. I did that for like a year, just training. And then I got into the fighting. I saw others started fighting. I was like, oh, I want to do that. That looks cool. Had my first fight. Oh, it was an exhibition.
Yeah.
It wasn't an exhibition. We went all out.
It's 100% straight away. Bell ring, boom.
They would say, oh, it's just sparring. It's just sparring. And then as soon as you get that first hit, you're like, I need to go.
And how old were you then?
I was 15.
15, yeah, okay.
15.
We can understand.
Yeah. Oh, that was cool though, like having my first fight. And then that year, I was 16, 2016. And then I just had continuous fights. And then by the end of the year, I ended up going to IFMA.
Oh.
Yeah. So like that first year I was fighting, I was like, oh, do you want to go to IFMA? I was like, yeah, I want to go to IFMA. That's awesome. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
How many fights did you rank up in that?
I think
first year?
I ranked up like 9 fights. Yeah.
Oh.
In that first year of fighting, I was so into it. Like, but it was kind of like a downfall as well because I had school as well. But all I was focusing on was training and fighting. That's all I wanted to do. So I was like, yeah. So that was a bit of a problem. But that was a bit of an issue. But
oh, well, if you've got an interest in, like...
Yeah, you kind of just want to follow it through, eh? Yeah. I really enjoyed that year, though. And then, and then just kept going after that. Yeah.
And so when did you switch to training with your current trainer and gym?
I switched, I think it was a year after that year, 2016, because we were training there at time with Lee in his New Lin gym. We were training there a few times a week anyways. Like he was helping me out and he was getting me ready for some fights. And then I decided like it was time to take a step forward and kind of just go into more of the technical side of fighting. And I love the technical side and everything. And I just felt like it was the right move to move on with him. And like me and Vinny we're still like on great terms. He still supports me all the time. So it's really cool, you know. I did it the right way. I was like, oh, have to do it face to face and tell them that, oh, I gotta have to go. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But well, I mean, usually most coaches they don't like it's part of the evolution of a fighter.
Yeah, definitely,
Well, not
you know.
all fighters. Some fighters train with the same person from when they start to when they retire. But like that's not always the case.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when you went to train with Lee,
Yeah.
where was the gym at?
It was because they did a combined gym. So him and because they're cousins, Lee and Vinny, they did a combined gym together. So they trained at the same place, and like I ended up switching with Lee, but they still shared the place kind of thing. So like they still shared the place, but I was just with a different coach. I still did the fights with him and everything. So yeah.
And at the moment, well, I don't know if you kept track. How many fights have you had so far up to date?
To be honest, I don't
You
know.
don't
I've
keep
kind of
track.
lost track, but like excluding I don't know, with the juniors, I think with the junior fights and exhibitions, I think I'm around the 20 mark. I'm not too sure yet.
That's quite a
Probably
bit.
have to calculate it. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So the other thing as well, for people who don't know, you've taken kickboxing fights,
Yeah.
Muay Thai fights,
Yeah.
and boxing fights as well.
Boxing's my most recent, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which I was quite surprised as well, to be honest, when I first heard that you were taking the boxing fights, because I was like, oh, doesn't she do kickboxing and Muay Thai? And it's like,
Yeah.
and what was like crazy was the people you were taking on as well
Yeah.
were they have been like in boxing for like quite a while. They were not like kickboxers or
Yeah.
Muay Thai
Exactly,
fighters
yeah.
who were
Yeah.
doing boxing as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, that was a pretty ballsy move, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. How did you find that switch there? Like from a
For me, it was like I actually enjoyed boxing a lot. Like even when we were just doing boxing training and stuff, because we didn't do much boxing training, but I enjoyed that aspect of training. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then my coach was like, Lee, he was like, oh, you should go into boxing. I was like, okay, well, let's do that. And then he said, you're gonna fight Mia. That was my first fight, Mia. I was like, oh, okay. But like I just trusted him. He knew that like he had so much belief in me that and it was exciting for me as well. Like if you're gonna get into something, you're gonna learn from the best. And I saw Mia. I was like, fuck, she's so good. And I wanted to see how it'd go against her. And yeah, I really enjoyed the experience. And from that first fight, like I learned so much. And then going into the second fight, I learned even more. So it was like
the
it was
second
such a
one
cool-
was was that with Troy?
Oh no, the second one was with Mia straight away.
Oh, the first one was with
Mia.
Mia?
And the second one we had to do with Mia again.
with me again, okay, and then
And the third one was with Troy. Yeah,
Troy,
Troy, yeah.
man, that's and what weight were you competing at for?
For with Mia it was 57. With Troy it was 60. Oh yeah, 60 kgs, yeah.
So what is the weight that you usually compete at, like for
Usually
across?
57. 57 is
57.
my usual weight, yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah.
lowest I've been was 55. That was with Nyreen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was for the King in the that
King
was
in the
on
Ring
King in
fight,
the
yeah,
Ring
my first
fight.
appearance, yeah.
Man, that's quite a lot of big fights, like
Yeah.
it's pretty insane when you think about it. So sorry, I was gonna ask about Lee and the gym that you guys before I go into I have other questions
Yeah,
about
yeah,
fights as
no
well.
worries.
How many fighters could you talk a little bit about the stable of fighters that you guys have? What's the name of the gym again?
Beyond Fitness.
Beyond Fitness,
Beyond
yeah.
Fitness is like I think
The
the other
name of
term,
it,
yeah,
okay.
but it's Beyond Muay Thai. We usually call it Beyond Muay Thai. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so, what's the stable of fighters there? Like, how many fighters there? And
We have our gym is not as big as it used to. It's quite small now, but we have like I think about including me, 5 fighters.
professional fighters.
Oh no, the 2
Just-
professional fighters.
okay,
Yeah. We had Mandela. If you've heard of him,
Sorry, what's the name?
Mandela. Mandela. He fought on King of the Ring in the middle.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
because
yeah,
I think
okay.
it was, yeah. He's there, and we have two little girls that fight with us as well.
Yes.
They're really good. They're such good girls.
They're boxing? Is
They're
it
no kickboxing,
Oh,
kickboxing
okay,
as
yeah,
well. Yeah, they done the like some youth shows and stuff like that.
Okay.
And yeah, and there's a boy named Huts. He was in the game quite a while ago. Yeah, but he's coming back into it, which is really cool. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and we have some other we have other people that train with us as well. They're part of the family. They get us ready for fights and stuff. So yeah, even though it's quite small, it's still really good.
Is it
Stable?
Is that wouldn't you say that's like a good thing? Like,
Well, I
to-
think it is. Yeah.
because when the gym gets too big and too busy,
Yeah.
it's very hard to. Well, there's pros and cons, right? I gotta be careful what I say, but like, there's pros and cons. Like, I think with a small gym, it's good. Like, there can be a lot of focus, or the coach can really focus on you and your development and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once you have like too many people, it's very hard.
You get kind of lost in the
Yeah,
crowd
it's-
kind of thing sometimes.
Well,
yeah.
some people can
Some
do it
people,
really
yeah.
well, you know,
Yeah.
but again, everybody has a you have a limited time span. you know,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
You can only focus on so many people.
A big gym,
for any period
gym
of
is
time.
great because there's so many people that you can
Yeah.
work with, and it's like it's a bigger family, I guess. But at a smaller gym for us, it's like we're a lot closer with each other. Being a smaller gym, it's like when someone's getting ready to fight, you kind of have to be there. It's like you need to go help them, and that's what family does. You always have to be for each other and everything.
Exactly.
Even if you're not fighting, you still need to
Yeah,
help
it's
them out.
about
kind of
being
thing.
it's about being part of your teammates' journey as well. Like being drilling with them or sparring with them, or like it all plays a part.
Yeah,
as
it's
much
just as rewarding sometimes because, like, when you see them fight, you're like, oh, I was a part of that, and they're doing so well. You're like, oh, I helped them out with that kind of thing.
or like the other one is like you probably when you train with someone and maybe you teach them a little something or a little trick or a little style or whatever, and then if they execute it in the fight, you're like, oh, shit, like that's what we do together, like it's really cool.
It's definitely cool, yeah.
And as like this is something that Eugene Behrman say a lot as well. As successful as all the the fighters are at the gym, you talk about the boys like Israel. You talk about Dan, Brad, like they're very good and they're very talented, but they would not have been where they were without the team members. The sparring partners, people drill with them who
Exactly,
spend
yeah.
like hours and hours in the gym. Without them, it might not have been possible.
Exactly,
I don't want
yeah.
to say it wouldn't, but it might not have been possible. Yeah, and I mean the other thing about like having having training in a big gym with a lot of people is it's good because you get to learn from a lot of people's styles. Because you like, especially when we talk about like sparring and stuff like that, everybody has a different style.
Yeah,
and so like
definitely.
the more experience you have with different people, it kind of helps because when you fighting someone, like
yeah, then you're like, oh, I know that, I've seen that style before.
yeah,
kind of
you
thing,
don't,
yeah.
you don't really get too surprised too often.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you probably dealt with that before,
Yeah.
someone who's done that. So like, yeah, there's pros and cons, but
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
yeah, good and bad. Oh yes, sorry. And then we were talking about your some of your recent fights, right? So you've obviously I think in the last year, how many fights did you have
Last year, I don't know about last year. I think because of COVID, it was quite
Oh
limited.
yeah, sorry.
But
Maybe last year and this year. It's quite a few.
quite a few this year. Yeah,
Quite a few fights.
quite a few this year. I forgot. I lost count about this year because it was quite busy. It's still busy this year, but think about five this year so far. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously one of the biggest fight shows that you would have fight on would be the King in the Ring.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that was
Yeah.
so cool to be on.
What,
to be honest.
what was your tell us your experience fighting on the King in the
Fighting
Ring?
on King in the Ring, it was like, because it's such a big show, you think it'd be like a lot more serious, a lot more thing. But honestly, it's so much fun. Like they're so welcoming. Jason and Anna, they're so awesome to be on the show, and like so welcoming to the fighters and everything, and it was just such a chillax kind of environment. Obviously, like when you get to like going on the show, everything is like has to be organized because it's on TV, but it's so cool. It's such an awesome experience, especially knowing like how many people are watching as well. You're like, oh my god, I really have to perform.
a bit of pressure.
A little bit. Of pressure,
little bit.
Yeah.
Not too much, but you have more I think the thing is like there's more cameras. There's a bit more lights.
Yeah.
Maybe a few more people.
Yeah.
The venue is like a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. How much did it affect you knowing that like this is on a like bigger platform? In the back of your head, you're thinking a lot of people are gonna be watching.
Yeah, that's true. Like for me, I like obviously there's the added little pressure. You're like, oh, there's a lot of people watching. You kind of have to like step it up. But then like sometimes the biggest thing for every fighter to do is just stay calm. And like I'm pretty bad at that sometimes, especially on that show. I'm like, oh.
Hey guys, stop letting your body go on in pain and feeling sore all the time, man. Start putting some deposits in your health bank and take care of your vessel. Go get yourself an amazing massage gun from Sharpened Recovery. It's a very affordable and lasts a long time. Highly recommended. It probably costs less than 5 meals outside and definitely cheaper than a pair of shoes. Instead of getting something that's going to be on your feet, why not get this massage gun to massage those feet and legs? Go to sharpenedrecovery.com and use the code AliChannel for 20% off your guns. Yes, 20%. You can thank me later. So what are you waiting for, guys? Go get yourself some amazing gear.
The first King of the Ring you fought was the one that you fought with Nyreen Crowley.
Yeah.
And how was that? That was
exciting.
That was a very exciting fight.
Because I followed Nyreen for a while. Like honestly, I did. Because when she was in Bali, like I was following her videos and her like posts and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. I looked at then like even her when she was prepping for world title. I actually have a screenshot of a message I sent her. I was gonna like post it up, but. I was saying, how much I look up to her and stuff like that. And like for me, like I kind of set in my mind that, she's staying there, she's going to chase her dreams and stuff. I didn't realize she was coming back here. And then my coach calls me, he's like, do you want to fight Nyreen? I'm like, hey, fight Nyreen? I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, it's such a cool opportunity to fight someone at that elite level. So it's like, I was so excited. I was so happy that I got the chance.
So, and then getting to... that's one thing to know that you're gonna fight the person, and then getting to the fight itself, and then how the fight went on between the both of you. Like it was I was there, I was watching the fight, and it was a war.
It was a
war.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So, my goodness, what is going on here?
I was just going. I was like, like I think because I was like trying to stay calm and everything. When in the fight, I was just like, nah, I'm fighting Nyreen. I have to go as fast as I can.
Man.
Yeah, but it was really cool. It was awesome. Like, she's such a great person. She was a great fighter as well. I was just like, kind of little fangirling a bit. I was like, this is so cool.
That is like it's very interesting. When you've looked up to someone.
Yeah.
And then you come to the point where you're fighting this person. You're like, that's crazy. Right?
I know, it was so cool.
And then, the fight came out to a draw, right?
Draw, yeah.
And how did you feel about that result?
For me, I was kind of more like focused on just the fight itself. Like, how did I do? Like, my performance in that. Like, for me, it's like, even if I won a fight or lost a fight, the first thing I'll be thinking about, did I do my best? And that was the most important thing for me. So it's like, the result is the result, it didn't really matter to me.
Did you go back and watch the fight again, and what do you think of the...
I thought it was all good. Yeah, I watched the fight and I was just like it would look, I don't know, I don't want to get into it, but I thought
it's okay, we can get into it. we got time. But
I just saw it overall, the fight. I thought it was a really good fight, and that's all I thought about it.
Did you feel like you obviously talk about you have a game plan going there. Did you feel like you executed your plan?
To be honest, my ears weren't that switched on that night. There was a game plan set, but I didn't really follow it. I was kind of like, I think the pressure got to me a bit, and I just like wanted to go forward the whole fight. Yeah.
uh, which was like, well, I wouldn't say that was a bad thing.
No,
but,
no.
what did your coach say about it?
So after the fight, like he was really happy about the fight. Like I was happy about the fight, but then he said, because he's really honest with me about the fight. Even if I won it, if I won it or lost it, he'll say what I did wrong, and he was just like, "You didn't listen." I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
And then that was like straight after the fight, and then we watched the video. And we're like, oh, actually better than we thought, kind of thing. Yeah, but
And obviously that event would have been a little bit louder, like there's a lot of background noise. Would you
Yeah.
say that affected the instructions from your coach, or could
I
you
guess
still
so.
hear him?
No, I could still hear him. I think it was like must have been the noise as well. I think. Oh no, I could like if I'm focused enough, I could still hear him. But I think the pressure and the big stage is like it's quite crazy. So you're just thinking, oh, this is really insane, and then you just kind of sometimes your ears just switch off. And I think that's what happened to me.
Yeah, and when you get a hit in the face, getting kicked as well, like
Yeah,
it's
it's like oh shit.
it's kind of like you're on autopilot, Yeah, man, that's crazy. What has been like some of the well, besides King in the Ring, what has been some of the coolest spots you fought at, or more interesting fights for you?
Other than King of the Ring, I'd say I think the boxing shows has been really cool. Like some of the like P3 promotions was really cool to be on.
The one at Sky City.
Yeah, and Peach's show was also as well, because they had quite good exposure for that one as well. But I think just being on the show itself, it was cool being in the boxing atmosphere. I'm always around the kickboxers, but like the boxers, they're real cool. It was real cool being around them as well. And to be honest, it's hard to keep track of the other shows I've been on. So I'm just like, which one was the best? Because they're all really cool and welcoming. It's always, and especially New Zealand sports or New Zealand kickboxing is real chillax and stuff, so it's cool.
It's interesting. Like it's very active. Like if you compare kickboxing, Muay Thai, and compared to boxing, like I think like kickboxing, Muay Thai is like really active.
Yeah,
They have shows like every other week.
yeah, it's very busy. Yeah,
Before the whole lockdown and whatnot. But like I mean now it's picking up again as well. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask was like, you were talking a little bit about like looking up to Nyreen when she was on her journey.
yeah.
Who are some of the other like role models or inspirations for you in
In
fighting?
New Zealand or just anyone?
Anyway.
I look up to a lot of the girl fighters as well. Like to be honest, Mia is one of them. I think Mia Motu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's one of them.
The
Like
boxing.
even though I didn't like, because I wasn't too sure about the boxing scene before I fought, but then when I fought Mia, that's when I started looking up to her more. I was like, oh, she's so cool. I look up to Wendy, Baby, just the the great fighters in New Zealand, and Kelly as well. She's awesome, Kelly Boris, yeah, and other fighters I've looked up to. When I was getting into boxing, I was getting really into like the pro stuff. Like Loma, Pernell Whitaker. Like I loved watching the Southpaws because I'm a Southpaw myself. So I was like, I was looking up to them a lot.
This is another question I want to ask. Like, talking about being a Southpaw, when you started fighting, did you start as a Southpaw or did you start?
Yeah.
Orthodox? Oh, okay.
I've always been left-handed.
Okay.
But actually, when I was playing basketball, I was left-handed, but I went on to shooting with my right. I don't know why. I was like, so I tried doing both, but I couldn't do both. It's hard doing both in kickboxing.
It's
so
harder,
but Southpaw, I've always been a Southpaw. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
I've
cool.
always
That's
been a
good to know.
lefty.
Well, like I think when you mentioned like Loma, I don't know if you know, interesting story. He was always a right-handed.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
And
Yeah.
then when he first started boxing, he learned to fight in the orthodox stance, but then he switched over to Southpaw because he realized that with your right hand being the stronger hand,
Yeah.
and it would be more effective to have a very strong and you can put more numbers in your jab, you know,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
that's why him and his dad decided to switch to
Switch
southpaw
over,
stance.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
that's a pretty cool
He
story.
does it really well as well.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well,
yeah.
and I mean, if you think about it, like some of the best boxers or fighters can fight in both stances.
Exactly, yeah.
So
yeah.
really, in this day and age, like you've got to
Learn both, yeah,
both, and
yeah.
I mean, you have your more dominant stance, but you kind of have to do both. Like,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
If not, if someone has has an answer for fighting like a southpaw. The other one, interesting one, is Terence Crawford. Do you know who Terence Crawford is?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's the lightweight, one of the lightweight champions.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's probably, I think he's probably like really up there. Uh, it's quite hard to say on par with Floyd Mayweather, but I think he's pretty close, or might be the next. But it's just that he doesn't have as much exposure, or he doesn't have that much of that star power. He's a really, really good boxer, and Lomachenko says that Terence Crawford is like among the both of them. They say that he's the pound for pound, and the other guy says,
okay, yeah.
but he's a dominant southpaw, but sometimes he fights in orthodox as well. And I think one of his last fights, he was fighting with, I can't remember who, might have been Kell Brook, or I can't remember. Anyway, so he fought, when he started the fight, he fought in southpaw for quite a while. Orthodox for quite a while. And then once the other guy got used to it, he was getting comfortable, and then he just switched to southpaw. And as soon as he switched, like that guy was just lost. Then he was like real awkward, trying to time and get your position and his footwork, and he lost it, and I think he got knocked out. But he's really, really, really smart boxer. But yeah, talking about Lomachenko. And then what about like international female fighters?
Female fighters, to be honest, I actually haven't followed. Oh, for me, in kickboxing, I follow a lot of female fighters. I love Alma and One Champion.
Oh,
Australian fighter, yeah.
Was it Alma Juniku?
I think, yeah. Alma and
Is she Australian or?
Yeah, she's Australian, yeah. And Stamp. Stamp
Stamp
as well. Yeah,
Faker,
she's
okay.
I followed them a lot. And what's the other one? I forgot her name. She's fought them before as well. I'm trying to remember. Oh, damn. Oh, I don't remember her name. But I know.
Is it a Vietnamese?
No, she's American.
Oh, okay. American?
Yeah. She
Can't
fought
remember.
Alma recently.
Okay.
I forgot it.
Too many names. Yeah.
No, but I love watching this. Oh, the Thai style is awesome to watch, especially the Thai fights. So cool. I was like watching it. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I
Do you prefer? It's interesting. Like, do you prefer Muay Thai fights or kickboxing?
Personally, I prefer Muay Thai. Muay Thai is more of my like, something that I love because I love how technical it is. I enjoy the technical side of it, like when it gets into the grappling and just even the outside game, especially when you have so many like things to look out for. I find that really interesting, and for me, it's like it's been my comfortable side so far. Yeah.
That's interesting. And so obviously, talking about like fighting, talking about wins, losses, draws, and all that, and it might not always be a smooth sailing journey, right? How do you deal with like if you didn't get the win or you got the draw, or how do you deal with it?
For me, I guess it's like, sometimes like for me, I'm my worst critic. So like if I don't perform to the way I wanted to perform, or I got the loss, and I obviously knew why I didn't get the win, I would like, for me it is, I do get tough on myself sometimes, and I guess it's like sometimes you just have to take it easy. For me, like I have to learn to take it easy on myself. Every fighter kind of has to, but for me, the way I deal with it is I always look at the lesson. Like, win or lose, what did I learn from this fight? What do I have to do differently, Never give up, never think, oh, no, I have to stop. It's more of like, what am I going to do better next time to get the goal, to get the achievement I want, Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty... Yeah, because why I ask is because, like, you you see a lot of fighters, and like, you know, sometimes people have like they're just on like a winning streak, and then some people really struggle when they get a loss. You know,
Yeah.
it's very hard. Like, it can screw with you like mentally. I think more than like the physical side of it.
No,
like-
exactly. Yeah, for me, I was quite opposite. I was on a losing streak. quite a bit of time, but
oh, well,
for me,
it's part of the. I mean, it's part of the
yeah,
learning process.
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
for you.
So the losing streak with me was like, even though I was taking big fights and losing, I was still learning from them. So I was kind of taking them as like little wins for me, and yeah, I was like, for me taking those losses, although, you know, on a fighter it's like, oh, she keeps losing, I keep losing, like what am I gonna do? But then for me it's like kind of looking at the bright side of everything. Like even the King of the Ring fight, the second one,
Yeah.
with Wendy, you know, I was like, for me, like I had a night where I felt like everything was going well, everything was going to be great, and then you get that shock like that, and you just don't expect it. You know, that's like my coach always tells me, he's like, that's how life works sometimes. You know, you have your best days, but then, you know, sometimes shit hits the fan, you don't know what to do, and then you just kind of have to learn from it and get up again. You know, that kind of thing.
Man, but I must say, shit, that fight started. It started really fast. It started really strong.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I have done a podcast with Wendy as well.
Oh, did you?
It's not out yet. It will be once this one is out, obviously.
Yeah.
But and then we talked about that as well. And I was telling Wendy, I was like, man, when it started, it was like a crazy fight. I was like, whoa, shit! Like the pace was really fast. It was going really well.
Yeah.
And then like I was just like, I mean, obviously Wendy being from the same gym, you know, you're kind of rooting for your team member, but like, you know, I don't. Obviously, I support the both of you, and like, you know, it's you want to see a good fight.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then and then when she landed that kick, I was like, oh shit! Like it was crazy. It was crazy.
Like all credit to her. That was a beautiful kick. Honestly, I was like,
It was
when I
like-
watched the fight again, I was like, oh man, that's nice.
It was like you know, it was like perfectly timed.
Yeah.
She had it like on the tee. You know, it was a little bit I was a little bit worried as well when I saw that. Like, you was like, oh, because after it hit you, you didn't really go down like straight away. You took a few
I
seconds
registered it. I
before
was
you-
like, I think because I remember being conscious at that point. I was like, I got it. I was just like, okay, she got me good. I'm going down. And then I got up again. I was like, okay, I have to get back. I have to recover.
That was what was crazy. I was like, shit. The fact that you actually, after that kick, right, you still got up and you still wanted to go again, and like you were still going. Because the ref didn't stop the fight like straight after that.
No,
right?
no,
like
no,
you
no,
still
yeah.
went for a bit and then he stopped it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it could have gone. It could have. I don't know. Like, I mean,
It was kind of like a 50-50.
obviously, I'm
yeah.
not a referee, but I don't know. Like, I feel like you should have been given like maybe a bit of a chance to recover.
Oh yeah.
Because you got the fact that you got up and you still went.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it shows that you can still keep going, and like, it's different if you get hit with a shot, you go down and you don't get back. You know, your 8 count, you don't stand or you don't come back up. That one's different, but like, I felt that even me and Wendy were talking about this as well. Wendy was saying like she was surprised. She thought that the ref would have given you more time to carry on.
Yeah.
So that was what we were thinking. I was like, and then.
I think it was one of those things. I think like I got up a bit too fast, so I was like, when I was getting back into the fight with her, I was kind of like taking my time a bit too much because I was still recovering. But I think that's would have happened. Like if I wasn't throwing at all, I think they wanted to call it straight away.
This is an interesting one that you learn from a lot of pro boxers. Is like sometimes when they get hit with a shot, that you just get hit like with a liver shot or whatever, or something that kind of stuns you a little bit, like they'll take a knee, and this more with the UK boxers. They'll take a knee and they'll take their full eight seconds. They'll take their full 8 count to give them some time to recover.
That's the smarter way of doing it, because you kind of want to like calm down, calm yourself down, and register it so that you can
'Cause
get back into the fight. Yeah,
adrenaline's
yeah.
pumping as well. When
Yeah.
you get hit with a shot that
Yeah.
kind of buzzes you a little bit,
You're
you're
just
like,
like, oh.
and then you just want to go like 100.
Your head's
straight away.
going like so many places.
What kind of shocked me a little bit about that one as well, because after that fight, you didn't take very long before you went into the next one.
Oh yeah.
So how long? How long was the gap before you fought on that next fight,
That
which was
was-
the recent fight like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that was 3 weeks since that fight, since the King of the Ring one.
3 weeks after that fight, you fought in the next one.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
yeah, because we had that one booked.
That's a
We had that one booked already, but I guess with a lot of fighters, like when they get a loss like that, you know, they want to take, like for me, like I was thinking, oh, maybe I should take a break, maybe I should take some time to get myself back up again. But then I kind of was thinking about it, and me and my coach were talking about it as well. I was just like, it's better to get back onto the horse straight away. I think it's, for me, I was like, you kind of need to face your fears straight away.
No,
you know?
I mean that I understand,
Yeah.
but it's not that like what I'm referring to. I'm referring to like the hit to the head. You know,
Oh yeah, no, I get what you
like
mean. Yeah,
getting getting a concussion, like.
yeah,
Well, I don't know how bad it was for you, like, because I wasn't the one who was getting it, but
Yeah.
like, I'm thinking like, man, shit, that's like a concussion,
yeah.
like semi, because you're not really like blacked out, you know.
No, yeah.
It was
yeah.
a semi
Kind of,
kinda-
yeah.
because like when you take a big shot to the head like that, or like maybe not big shot, but a shot that kind of buzzes you, you kind of want to be a bit more careful.
Be
about
careful, of course, yeah.
when's, you know.
I was like, I'll be honest, I am lucky, but because I did get a checkup.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it didn't go well, I wouldn't be fighting. But I had obviously I had to get medically cleared and make sure that everything was alright. So just made sure to do that. We took, like, for the camp leading up to it, we didn't do any heavy sparring or anything. We just made sure to be safe, and I obviously in the fight I had to make sure I was extra safe. That was in my head, like, be extra cautious and stuff. And
not
yeah,
to take too many shots.
yeah,
to the
exactly,
head
yeah,
stuff like
and yeah,
that one was the one that was recent. Was that two weeks ago? Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah,
yeah.
2 weeks ago. Was that there was a Muay Thai?
There was a more full Thai fight for women. So
Yeah.
2 fights in one night.
2 fights in one night as well. Damn. Shit.
I was like, oh, I wanted to keep doing it. I was like,
And so
oh,
who were the two ladies you? That was in Hamilton, right? The TMT
yeah.
fight night. is
So
it?
for the other 3 girls was Margaret, Waitohu, and Gabby. I fought Gabby and Waitohu. Waitohu was the first fight. Gabby was the second fight. She was the last, the final one.
And so, did you manage to stay away from the headshots and the?
I did.
the-
Thank goodness.
do you think that's like something that you've adopted, like trying not to take as many shots?
Yeah, but like obviously I'm not. Sometimes when I'm not thinking about it, I do end up taking shots. But like I'm trying to be a bit more cautious now and being a bit more like you kind of do have to protect yourself at all times. That kind of case. So I was like, yeah, it's like every fighter has to get to that point.
Because when you look at like like everybody has their own style of fighting, right?
Yeah.
And when for example, if someone were to look at, for example, your fight with Nyreen that you had, and looking at that fight, you think that, man, she just wants to go hard and bang, like, which was like what that fight was, like you guys, both of you girls were just like going head on. I was talking to Wendy about this one as well.
Hey you, don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video.
We were quite surprised that you gave her, because she's taller, she's slightly taller, she has longer reach, and we were quite surprised that you gave her space.
Oh, you really? Oh, yeah. In the fight,
Because
yeah.
when we were talking about it and we were thinking about it, like, usually someone who has longer reach, you don't want to give them too much space.
Yeah.
Because like, they want to fight on the outside, you know?
Yeah.
So we were quite surprised about that. But obviously, like when you think about it, it's just like all these little things that you kind of learn, like what you said, along the way.
Yeah.
And then, well, obviously you've come out successful in the last 2 fights that you had.
Yeah.
So it definitely has helped you, in one way or
Yeah,
another. And this was the this was the very interesting one. This learning or talk that I had, I can't remember with who, but man, it was a very good lesson, that when you have, like, for someone who has a lot of fights or who has had a lot of fights, it doesn't matter what your win or lose record is.
Yeah.
Like, it's what's more important is how you use what you've learned from your wins and your losses to make you,
exactly.
like, into a better fighter.
Mm-mm.
Like, we talk about, like, some big fighters on the world stage right now. Okay, maybe we talk about someone locally, for example, let's say Blood Diamond is, Bloods has had a lot of fights,
Yeah.
right? He has had a lot of fights, and he doesn't have a perfect record,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't, like, it's safe to say that he wouldn't be the fighter he is today if not for what
If
he
not
has
for those
learned
fights,
in his
exactly.
wins and his losses.
Yeah.
But you look at him now, like, what's crazy is, like, I've been to, with Bloods for a while, and, like, from his past few fights, the level of confidence I have in him it's insane. I don't even, like, it's funny for me to say, like, I think I might have more confidence in him than he has of himself.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Like, when I see him train, or when I see him spar, when I see him fight or whatever, like, at the back of my head I'm like, bro, he's just gonna smash the guy. Like, there's no doubt. There's, like, no doubt at all in my head, that he's gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Right. And it's crazy. Especially, I think his last kickboxing fight, which is a very interesting one. I was with him and we were watching that, and because he's so close to his transition into MMA.
Oh, yeah.
And it was funny in that fight, after the fight, and we were talking to each other, and we're like, he was like, man, I kind of, like, have already zoned out into an MMA fight, like, but he's had so many. I think it might have been over 100 fights.
Oh my God.
I think, or close to.
Yeah.
It's crazy because him and Israel, like, they have crazy number of fights.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Similar to Eugene as well, Eugene and Doug, and, like, just among all of them, and, like, all the coaches there, especially, like, they've had so many fights. It's crazy.
You should count them all together.
Yeah, and I think Baby Nelson's another one who's had a lot of fights as well. It's crazy. Like, the number of fights they've had is insane. Anyway, one of the question I had was, I think I haven't asked you, but so you've had quite a few fights. You've fought a few people. Who has been the toughest opponent for you so far, you'd say?
It's hard to say, because some opponents are, like, it's hard to, like, find the right one, because some are kind of as hard as each other.
Yeah, some people put it as, like, they fought either the most technical person they fought, or the hardest puncher.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, let's say in general,
Yeah.
the toughest opponent in terms of, like, everything combined, like maybe hard puncher or kicker,
Yeah.
Technicality and everything.
Who's
been the toughest for you so far?
I guess, like,
we can take some time to think about it.
You have to give a straight answer. Oh God. Like, I'd love to say, I want to say kickboxer as well, but hardest, I'm just gonna say a boxer, because that's probably, because being a transition to boxing, it is hard anyway. But Mia is probably my hardest fight, just because the power she has on me. I was like, oh my God, I wish I could name more, but but yeah, definitely, I reckon Mia has probably been my toughest fight. Yeah.
As in terms of, like, what is there anything specifically?
I think for me, it was the technical and the power. I haven't been, like, with kickboxers, a lot of kickboxers have like great power with kicking and punching, but when a boxer is just focusing on their hands, it's a totally different kind of power. So yeah, that was a great adjustment when I got into the fight. I was like, oh, wonder how that power is gonna be, and her power was great. So yeah, that was probably my toughest. Oh yeah, there's a lot more, but yeah.
Okay, now so I've asked the toughest one, right? This one's not going very nice. But which has been your easiest?
Oh, nah. Let's not get into that. No, bro.
Okay. I don't wanna.
You're stirring. You're stirring, bro.
Okay, no, I don't want to be rude. We don't want to be rude and disrespect anybody.
Yeah.
But which fight would you say has been not as hard or easier than expected?
Easier than expected.
Stirring them.
You're stirring.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Because for me, like when I have a fight, like mentally, like because when I'm fighting someone, I'm not really fighting someone. I'm fighting myself. So it's like I can lose a fight.
Very smart answer. I like
But
that.
see, you know what I mean? Because like, that's what happens to me as well. Like when I'm fighting in the ring, sometimes I'm fighting myself as well. That's what happens. Like sometimes I'm not fighting that person anymore. I'm fighting two people, and that's been the problem with me in the past. But now I'm like, I'm trying to just fight that person. I'm trying to fight the fighter, not fighting.
Focus and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's been my problem in the past, and I'm working on it obviously. But a lot of it's just the aspect of being calm and just having that self-belief. So every fight I have, I believe I learn from it, win or lose. You know, whether I felt it was easy or not, I'm still learning from it, and I'm still gauging some from that fighter. Because every fighter I remember every fighter that I fought, and I just know that they've helped me along my journey, and that's the most important thing for me, you know.
What's the the fight that you've won that ended in like the fastest time? What was
Ended in the fastest time.
yeah. So you've won by decision and you've won by
Yeah.
KO, TKO, or
Yeah.
So what has been?
The fight I had in the weekend, 2 weeks ago, that ended in a KO. That wasn't expected. Like for me, obviously I was drilling what we were doing in the warm up and stuff, but I wasn't expecting it to end that fast. I was like, oh wow, crap.
How did they knockout happen?
It was a overhand lift. Yeah.
Very dangerous.
It was off the right kick, like a fake right kick to the overhand lift. Yeah.
Damn. And so that one she was like out cold.
Yeah, I think she tried getting out, but yeah, it was one of those that just had to be called off. I was like, and like everyone was like cheering, and I was like, went to the corner, and my first thing in my head was like, oh my god, is she okay? Is she okay? And everyone kind of like died down. Yeah, those kind of knockouts, it's you want to celebrate and stuff, but like when I see something like that, I'm just like, oh.
You're a little bit
first
worried.
person is someone's well-being first.
Yeah, you're a little bit worried as well. Like, I mean, yes, obviously you want to celebrate the win. I understand, but like, if the person was not being a douchebag or whatever, like you're kind of a little bit worried about their well-being.
Yeah,
you know,
it's totally different to like a TKO. TKO, someone still
they're still alright. The ref
yeah.
stopped it, but like when someone's out like flat or
they
when they're not conscious and like stuff like that, it can get a bit scary. And
they get worried.
Get a bit worried.
It becomes more than a game. It becomes like, oh, someone's health.
Someone's. Well, it's funny to say this because obviously this is the fight game, right?
It's different. It's funny. Yeah.
People are gonna get hurt, for sure. But like at the end of the day, you want both parties, yourself and your opponent, to
be healthy, to
come
be
out
well
of the ring,
after,
and when somebody like gets taken out like that, it can be a bit worrying. Like shit, are they okay? Like,
of course.
Because you see, people have died. Like I mean, it has happened. Freak accidents. They've taken a shot to the head, a hard shot, or there are a lot of reasons, like we don't know, or maybe like they've just taken too many shots throughout their whole career and shit like that. Which can be quite scary. Like when I did the podcast with Eugene, sorry, and we were talking about one of his fighters previously who they went over to fight in Tahiti, and
Oh, okay.
I think it was a kickboxing, man. I can't remember if it was boxing or kickboxing, but Eugene has talked about this before, and he took a shot and he went down and he didn't really recover, you know. So as much as we you know, you heard like on the international scene stuff
Yeah.
like this happen, you know, you have people who have experienced this who are close to you as well,
Yeah.
and it's crazy, you know, like something like that happens, it not only affects the person who fought you, but your coach, you know, your
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
your
Definitely,
teammates,
yeah.
your you know, it's
Especially with like coach as well and your teammates, it's like their goal is for you to be safe in their fight. And like sometimes when like that kind of stuff happens, it's like, you know, it hurts as much to them. It's like, oh man, you know.
yeah, and that's why like I don't know, what is your thought about this? Like if your coach were to stop the fight, what is your thought on like if a coach stops the fight
I think for me,
for
it's
your
like
fighter?
because I have full trust in my coach, so I believe that any decision he makes for me, I know that it's the right one. Because sometimes he knows a lot more than I do. So if he sees that I'm getting hurt in a fight or I'm gonna get more damage, then I'll just accept it and be like, you know, it is what it is. Like he made the right decision for my well being, you know. And there's always other
Exactly.
fights, always other opportunities. But right now, it's about your health and how you're gonna go.
100%,
Yeah, you're gonna go
100%.
away okay after this fight.
Yeah,
you know.
100%. And like you know, you see some fighters who they have like big egos, you know, and they don't want to like give up.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah.
I understand it, but like if you think about it, like your coach's job is to take care of you, and he's got so much responsibility because he's got to make sure, like, not only the ref, but your coach has also got to make sure that you get back home safely to your family.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And like for some guys or girls who, you know, they have partners and children who, especially like if they have children who, you know, who need them, like to support them,
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
and they don't want to lose you because
Yeah.
of a fight,
Yeah.
you know, and it's better to live and fight another day, you know. But
That's like
some,
my mom. My mom, she's the worst. Before a fight, every time I leave before a fight, she's just like praying under her breath. I'm like, oh
Oh
god,
my goodness.
she
Okay.
makes me worried. I'm like, man.
that was what I was the other one I was gonna ask as well. You know, being a you know from a Middle Eastern family, and you know not common for Middle Eastern girls to be fighting and all that.
Yeah.
How did this is what I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, right? How did your parents take it when you first told them that you wanted to fight?
For me, it was I kind of made my own decision. I'm like, I want to do this, you know. Even though I was like 16, you know, they still had like responsibility of my decisions. But I told them like, for me, when I get into something, like that's my whole focus. Like I'm committed to it 100%. And they kind of like obviously they weren't happy with it at first. They're like, oh, what if she gets hurt? What if she gets this? What if that happens? And like for me, it's like, you know,
Mom or
obviously-
dad?
both. My dad, he'd still like suck it up and come to the fight. My mom, she won't come.
She won't come.
Yeah.
She can't handle
And
it.
even yeah, exactly. Even if I lost the fight, and I was like, oh, do you want to watch it anyways? Even if it was a good fight, she's like, no, you lost. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see you get hurt. I'm like, oh,
It's
man.
hard. It's very tough
hard.
pill to swallow.
They
right?
eventually like when they started seeing how like how far I wanted to take it. That's when they were like, oh, okay, no, we understand. And as long as you're happy, then they're happy. That kind of thing. Yeah. They just wanted me to be happy anyway.
But still, like, you know, the mums, I understand.
the mom, yeah, they're the hard ones.
They kind of worry you a little bit. You're really like confident and like, you know,
Yeah.
and then your mom starts to panic and worry and like, oh man.
I was like, well, because after the Wendy fight, obviously she was worried and she was like, and then when I had this fight coming up, she gave me that little talk. She was like, cause like her English is really good. Like her English is really good, but like she loves talking in like metaphorically and stuff. She looked at me, she's like, you have to be a lion. Like you have to be a lion. I'm like, okay. And after the fight, when I won, she's like, you're a lion. I'm like, thanks, mom.
Well, that talk definitely helped, right? It definitely.
I was thinking in my head, oh, if I lose, how am I going to my mom?
Oh,
And I was
man.
thinking about the King of the Ring fight. I was like, oh my god, how am I going to tell my parents?
Oh man, it's a bit of pressure there.
Yeah.
But man, it's like if you think about it, that's really cool. Like it's very important to have a strong support system, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I don't know what it's like for some people. Maybe they have like family who are not supportive. Like that can be really hard.
It's very tough. Yeah, definitely.
That's the last thing you want, is to have someone not support you. But okay, maybe, I mean, there might be people who have like people who don't support them, but at least you don't like pass on that that vibes to that person.
Yeah.
But if someone like doesn't support you and then they say negative things as well,
Yeah.
that's gotta suck.
That is
That's gotta suck.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy. Man, Aisha, now we've come to the section, wise words from the wise lady. Right?
Oh man.
Okay, so if you got for people watching, listening, and this is very important, right? Because you never know who might be the younger generation who are watching and listening to what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? So for anybody who's younger, older, whichever, watching, listening, what word of advice would you be giving them?
If you have a passion and you have something that you love doing, whether it be a sport or anything in life, really, it's not always going to be an easy road. You have to understand that there comes a lot of lessons rather than wins. Even though like it might not seem as easy as you wanted it to be, and you're not getting the way you want all the time, at the end of the day, it's all about how hard you work, how hard you push yourself. All the mental battles, even more than the physical battles, mental battle is probably the most important thing that you can do, because that's what's going to push your body. That's going to push your drive to get the goals that you want. And all I could say really is, like, if you really love something, then you'll do everything you can just to go for it, Go through all the highs, go through all the lows, and just believe in yourself and believe in the people that are with you and are supporting you, and just have faith that you'll get there in the end. No matter how long it is, it could be 1 year, 2 years, even more than that. You'll definitely get there as long as you never give up. That's the most important thing.
Damn, there's some very wise. There's very wise words for someone who says that she doesn't.
I don't talk.
That's a very good man. That's a very good message. I think people can learn a lot from that, and like looking at your road, your journey as well. What are some of your future plans now?
My future plans now, I think it's just first of all, pass uni. Second of all, carry on with
what are you studying in uni?
Sport and rec. I'm doing sports. Yeah. Second of all is just keep training, keep fighting, and just go with the flow. I think I'm I'm being more active now, because I'm realizing, like, even though I have like a lot of time ahead of me, I want to use as much as I can. Take the opportunities that I can, and just see where I can go. Really, there's no set like future goal, but for me, I just want to take in as many achievements as I can.
One thing is what I like to do is I like to put it out in words so that people have like a. But okay, let's say, are you planning to like fight in one championship, or are you like looking towards like glory kickboxing, or?
To be honest, I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I've had like when you daydream about like your future and stuff. Like I've had a lot of times where I'm just like, I'd love to imagine me fighting there and that kind of stuff.
Where exactly?
One champion.
One champion. Okay.
Obviously, yeah. That was like, that'd be awesome to do that.
Is it kickboxing, Muay Thai, or?
I think Muay Thai.
Separate.
Yeah.
Theirs is separate. Right?
They are separate. Like they do K1,
K1
Muay Thai, and boxing. Yeah, I think Muay Thai would be the dream. Yeah, definitely a dream. Like if I had a like, for me, I like having dreams and making dreams like set for myself, but I don't always vocalize it. But for me, I was thinking, being in one championship, being a world champion, those kind of goals are something that would motivate me to keep going.
Yeah.
So,
that'll be really cool. You know, and I mean, honestly, like it's not as hard as. Okay, like it's very hard to say. Like it's not as hard as people put it. Like sometimes, because I understand one championship is like huge.
It's a huge thing. Yeah,
but the organization is huge. Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, and obviously some the level of the fighters will be higher and this, that, whatnot. But like when you think about it, right? It's just all it is just a ring. You're getting in the ring and you're fighting somebody in front of you, right, is the same as what you've done 2 weeks ago. Fighting,
Yeah.
obviously, we talk about like the skill level, the people might be different, but
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
like, Nyrene's competed in one
I know,
championship,
this was amazing, yeah.
and you look at some of the, like some of the girls that we look at, Jenna, who's fighting in PFL right now. It's probably, I don't want to butcher anybody in the past who've gone, but like, okay, there's a few ladies who've done big things. Baby Nansen has fought with Michaela Mayers, which is the current boxing champion. She's fought with her before on a undercard of Lomachenko.
I know, it's awesome.
Like, it's all these big things, and like, when you think about it, like it's not really, too far-fetched or
Exactly, yeah. Nothing's impossible.
exactly.
As long as you work hard for it, you'll get anywhere you
Exactly.
want to.
And like at the rate like you're going as well, like you're not stopping and you're not slowing down, and it's just I guess it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
One interesting thing I'd like to ask is, have you ever seen yourself competing in MMA, or is there something you want to work towards further down the line now?
I don't know, like I don't think so. I think I'm too like focused on like the Muay Thai and boxing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can trust myself on the ground. I don't think I'll do well there. I'll probably just be like cuddling.
Okay, but nah, it doesn't, like the grappling and wrestling side of things don't interest you? Or?
Honestly, like I can see how hard it is. Like it's so tiring. Like I respect all the MMA fighters and the wrestlers and stuff. That's awesome. But I think for me, it's just like I don't know if I'll be able to do well.
If you never try, you never know.
Yeah,
right? If you never try, you
yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's well, I guess it's just a matter of time. And like, you obviously know who Melody Downs is.
Oh yeah, of
and
course, she's awesome. Yeah.
she's also another fighter who's working her way to one championship, which well, I believe it's again, it's like it's only a matter of time. Well,
Yeah.
I guess now, I mean, now it's not the best time
Yeah.
because of all the restrictions and
Oh,
the
yeah, of course.
lockdowns
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all that
yeah.
sort of shit. And also, I think it. We have a few other people who compete in one championship in New Zealand. I think there's there's Kieran Joblin. There is another bro who I think it's Mark Abelardo. I think I can't. That might be his brother, but anyway, one of the Abelardo brothers. I think there's two of them, so they both fight in one as well. And then John Bruin fights in. The MMA organization in the Middle East. The name has just slipped my mind. But anyway, I think one of the problems was that because New Zealand's so strict with a whole quarantine process and all that, it just cost a lot more money to fly out a fighter from here to compete.
Yeah. So yeah.
Because when you come back, you've got to do the quarantine and you got to pay like $5,000.
Yeah. So expensive. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just yourself; it's your team. So
exactly. Yeah.
your coach, or you'd have maybe, well, it depends. Sometimes you go 2-3 people, so like that's a lot of money involved. So maybe they don't want to. But hopefully, in time to come, when more people get vaccinated, I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully the borders open.
Yeah,
A little kind of almost back to normal. Hopefully.
Well, it went back to, I wouldn't say normal, but like semi-normal with Australia, how you could fly over and back, no quarantine and all. But now
it's like, they've
got a few
back at us.
They've got a few cases and whatnot, and then they are on lockdown. Or they've stopped flights from certain places and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy. It's been a while,
Been a while traveling, like it's not even said anymore. Like, I'm gonna travel this place. The only place you could travel really is just within New Zealand, which is still good, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, when you talk about like competing and fighting, if you wanna, there's only a limited pool of people in the country.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So it's like,
can't keep fighting.
You
the
want to
same
broaden
people.
your
like
definitely.
Australia or overseas or wherever.
Yeah. It's difficult.
Yeah, and I mean that's it. In a way, I don't know. Maybe like because you're trying to complete uni now, might be a good thing.
In a way, yeah. Actually, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it's like when you fight this actively and you rack up like wins and stuff like that and experience, you probably get like called, or you might get called up later on for like international fights.
Definitely, yeah.
They,
cool.
other people in other countries are always looking for fighters as well. And then like New Zealand's very active in the whole kickboxing and the Muay Thai side of things. Well, anyway, Ayisha, I don't want to drag this on for too long, and we're also gonna catch the UFC fights in a while.
Oh, true.
So,
Yes.
I just want to say, thank you so much for your time today, coming down, doing the podcast with us, and I want to wish you all the best in your journey, and we look forward to see you do big and great things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And guys, thank you so much for staying this far, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you on the next one.